Buckle up, folks. Buckle up. I was planning on perhaps finishing. I'm in the office, not in my car, in case you can't tell. Hey, how do you like my new back seat? Uh, I was planning on finishing the Joseph Murphy SP course we've been doing. Um, go over the helpful pointers that Murphy has at the end of his chapter on, how to have happy, healthy, loving relationships and a happy, healthy, loving marriage. I was planning on doing that, making kind of a long video about the helpful pointers. Every chapter of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind has these helpful pointers at the end, which are just fantastic. Um, but then, yeah, the last couple hours and just speaking to somebody has made me change my mind and wait to do that till probably next video. We'll go over that. The Murphy course, if you're new here, the Joseph Murphy SP course that we are about to complete, there's already I think 10 or 11 videos. I'll put the link in the description. You can watch all of those videos. Um, but yeah, I decided to change direction this afternoon because you know how pre-planned I am, Johnny Professional. I decided to change direction because I don't know, man. I was like, I got to make a banner of a video. Because one of the main reasons this channel has existed for a long time, and I've got there's hundreds of videos on this channel. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos. Uh, One reason that I am as prolific as I am is because there's some main themes that I like to cover. And one of those main themes is that most of these law of attraction, law of assumption, manifesting ideas, in my opinion, they're all the same. Law of attraction, law of assumption, there's no difference whatsoever except in how we label it. Those ideas are fantastic, right? Obviously, that's a big part of what my channel is about, is how fantastic they are. But the reason they're fantastic, generally speaking, usually is because they're very practical tools to help improve our lives and improve the lives of others, right? What I like so much about Joseph Murphy and, this chapter we've been reading, all of Murphy's work and most of the great teachers that we look at again and again, like Neville, like Richard Dotz, right? Like H. Emily Cady, like Emile Coué, like Maxwell Maltz, like Joel Goldsmith. They're all saying, love yourself more, love others more, right? And your life will get better. You'll feel better, and your life externally too, in all likelihood, will improve in so many ways that you would never expect, right? It's like this very golden rule oriented, Christian oriented type of teaching, and it's very practical, right? And I want to share that with a lot of people. But another reason my channel exists is to tell you that a lot of those teachings, as great as they are, when they try to get overly spiritual or overly metaphysical, they falter, in my opinion, compared to some of the other great spiritual and mystical teachings that I'm aware of, and I think that many of you viewers are aware of, and many of you viewers are not aware of. I say, like, the deep, non-dual spiritual teachings, there's so much depth there that is often lacking in these spiritual sounding LOA texts. LOA, in my opinion, is primarily practical. It's not like this deep non-duality. The last podcast episode I did was about this. I'll link above to that podcast episode where I was quoting from the wonderful Nisargadatta Maharaj. And we hear so much on YouTube and on Reddit and, and all these places about I am, and a lot of these great New Thought teachers talk about I am all the time. In Nisargadatta, you ponder what Nisargadatta says, and he just blows the shit out of that in like 2 minutes. He basically is like, you're not I am, you are I am not. And I mentioned that, and this is a constant theme if you're very familiar with my videos, a constant theme I mention again and again about how practical these LOA tools can be and should be, in my opinion, and how impractically they are presented and often applied by people. And I wanted to make this video today to let you know that most of these folks on YouTube, excuse the fire engine if you can hear that, most of these folks on YouTube talking about like SP advice are mixing the two together and coming at it from what I would say is like a very muddled, what's that word? I can never say it. I'm not even trying to say it. Solispic or solispic, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Self-oriented, selfish-oriented type of perspective. Solispic? Why can I never say that word? Someone in the comments, or 12 people in the comments will correct me. Where it's self-oriented and it's very ego-oriented, either intentionally or unintentionally, as an outlook towards life. And I've become, if anything, more aware of this since starting to do so much SP coaching with Marvin. You notice in the SP community that there's all these me-first coaches in terms of the advice they give, you know? And they give advice like, oh, you know, he's so obsessed with me, she's so obsessed with me, oh, they can't stop thinking about me, you know, that kind of stuff, right? And if you've been listening to this Murphy course, watching this Murphy course, you should realize that is not what Joseph Murphy, what Neville, what Florence Scovel Shinn, what these great LOA teachers were talking about when it came to, like, you know, quote unquote, manifesting an SP. They were talking about how if you give love, then you will get love in return. That is very different than taking love, making someone obsessed with you. How is making someone obsessed with you loving? How is that ethical? That's very ego-driven behavior. And it comes in part from buying into this, I am the God of my own reality, I create my own reality. That whole perspective. And that whole perspective is fucking bullshit. I'm going to put a link above to a video I made, like, I don't know, a year and a half ago. I've talked about this a lot, but it was a good video I did like a year and a half ago talking about this. I think I did that video when I was still moderating the Neville subreddit. And I was getting all these questions from people who were, again, they had this incredibly self-centered, I'm the God of my own reality. You know, I create everything. If I want someone in my life, I can just manipulate them into my life. And I was like, that outlook's insane. Why do you want to create your own reality in that way? Do you know how much inferiority you have? That what kind of a complex you have if you're trying to manifest things in that way? I see a lot of SP coaches that are very popular now with, like, you know, oh, they're so obsessed with me. Of course they're obsessed with me, you know, like I'm first best, you know, I'm everyone's top priority, all that kind of shit. Guess what? Go fucking down by the river. That's awful advice. Long term for romantic relationships, for relationships in general. You self-centered teachers. These are the same people, by the way, ripping you off, taking your money and not giving you good advice. It doesn't work long term. I wonder why it doesn't work. Because these coaches are self-absorbed. If they're coming from a place where they're this self-absorbed, oh, I'm first best, everybody bows down to me. Do you really think that they're going to feel bad about taking your money? No, they're going to feel justified. Oh, I gave them good advice. They didn't take it. That's their fault. Give me your money. Give me your money so I can give you more self-centered advice and teach you how to be self-centered like I am. I am the God of my own reality. So this, you know, this is not part of the Joseph Murphy SP course, but this ties right into all of it, because what Murphy's talking about is practicing the golden rule. Do unto others as you would do to yourself. And making someone obsessed with you, saying, "Oh, I'm high, I'm everyone's first priority. Everybody loves me, and everybody should kowtow to me or whatever," is fucking insane. That's not the golden rule, guys. You can misinterpret the Bible, misinterpret Neville all day long. It still is just common sense. It's not right. You know? And I'm not going to name names, but it should be pretty obvious that this is a big time problem in the SP community and the LOA coaching space in general, law of assumption coaching space. And again, Neville used a lot of language that could be interpreted this way. I don't think Neville meant it that way. I think he was much more humble and truly spiritual to look at life that way. But he could be interpreted in such a manner. And again, okay, you want to interpret him in such a manner? Sure. And say, "Oh, I create my own reality. I am God." Sure, do that. I want nothing to do with you. And I'm telling you, I just spoke to somebody, who was gaslit for asking questions about like creating her own reality, and asking questions like, "Well, am I creating the wars in the Middle East right now? Am I creating famine?" Because you're creating reality, right? She was gaslit for asking those questions, for actually questioning this philosophy and how you carry it out in your life if you really believe that. Because if you really are God, which you are, you don't create from such a perspective of me, 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 me. Of I am. I am is such a joke a lot of the time in this community. Like I said in that Nisargadatta podcast episode, and Nisargadatta talks about a lot. You know what's important in the phrase "I am"? Not I. Am. 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 Right now, where's I? Where's I right now? There's no fucking I. It's a concept. It's conceptual. It's a train of thought. Which is fine. We have to have a train of thought. We naturally think. But if you make it all about I, you become self-centered and egocentric really quickly. And that's the kind of advice that is rampant in this law of assumption space, this SP space. I can tell you right now, let me name some names of just people who are not like this that I can think of. Marvin and I don't coach like this, obviously. We don't do SP coaching like this because for the reasons that I'm going over in this video. Añez does not coach people like this. She comes from a place of self-love, self-concept, and loving yourself from a wholesome way. I can't think of any other SP coaches that I know, and I don't know them all. But besides Añez, Marvin, and myself, I can't think of any others for sure where I'm like, I know where they're coming from in terms of this. I used to watch some of Caleb's videos. I used to like some of those videos. Maggie used to like his stuff a lot, but I can't say because I just haven't watched Caleb in a while, and I tried to email Caleb like several times, and he never replied back, which I consider a red flag. But maybe I'm being overreactive there. But anyway, yeah, Caleb made plenty of good SP videos back in the day. And yeah, I don't think Cecilia's really doing one-on-one SP coaching, but if Cecilia gives good SP advice, it does a little bit of coaching. I just named you the people that I would trust in the SP space to get coaching from, guys. That's it. Everybody else that I know, and I don't know everybody, mind you, but everybody else, I'd be very careful about this self-centered I am-ness quality. Taking, not giving love. It makes me want to suck my thumb. Go back in the womb. I hope some of you are understanding what I'm saying here. The reason that Marvin and I always say we start where most of these teachers, these coaches, SP coaches end, and these LOA influencers end, is because we do. Who else is going to tell you what I'm telling you right now? And that's not because I'm special. I am special. I am first best. No, motherfucker. It's because I'm humble enough to know that I don't know much of anything and no one else does either. And that I can listen and give my heart to people who are open to that. When you hear SP advice about how you should they're obsessed with me, or it's, they're gonna be calling me, they're gonna be texting me, that stuff can work, guys. Marvin and I always say that stuff can work, but it has nothing to do with real SP manifestation, which is realizing that you are the person you want. That obsession you want from the other person is the lack of love you are giving yourself. If you loved yourself more, you would not want them to be obsessed with you. You would want to give love to them. And you wouldn't want to take from them. This is common sense, guys. As I've said in a recent video, it's not okay, this behavior in the community. It's never been okay. Never been okay. And I think if you're still watching, you understand that you are a good person and you deserve to treat yourself well and lovingly and to not fall for any of that weak, shallow, egotistical shit. Love yourself more, love your partners more, love other people more. And the reason I criticize these coaches and teachers is not from a personal level of saying, like, you're a bad person. I know a lot of these people are trying their best to coach and to, give information as they know how, but they're not doing it lovingly enough. And what happens is people who fall for that kind of advice, they don't get the love and support they really need to integrate these ideas into their life in a healthy manner. They feel shamed instead of supported. A lot of these coaching styles are almost predatory in that way. You're the real SP. When you recognize that, and you can recognize it just by getting quiet and seeing, like, I'm enough. What do I need right now? What do I need to give myself? And listening to what you need to give yourself and doing that. And often that's just like, I want to give myself love, space, peace. If you do that, you're coming from a place of wholeness. And then you realize that you're okay and you're the real SP and that you can give love and wholeness to other people. And it's not about I anymore. Of course there is an I, but there doesn't need to be a perverted sense of entitlement or a consistent heavy emphasis on I want. That's what we were recently talking about, what Joel Goldsmith was saying about how supply, and supply could also be health or love. Supply is not what you get, it's what you give. Love is not what you get, it's what you give. Because when you give love, both to yourself or to someone else, and it's one and the same. When you give love in that way, the reward is immediate. You feel it. The givingness of that is the reward in and of itself, the manifestation in and of itself. Be the good person that you know you are, okay? Don't fall for this shallow stuff, this me first, I'm first best, get them obsessed with me nonsense. A mature, loving person would never want someone to become obsessed with them. They would just want to do the right thing and live a decent life. All right. Hope this was helpful.